got to meet up with the coach somewhere. Again, we don't know at this stage.
No.
You were a little while on that. Yeah.
First human beings I've seen are here. I imagine we're going to go downstairs somewhere because this is a lot higher than.
We're going down.
They'll be queuing up down there somewhere. Huh? He's doing the welcome dance like this chap. To welcome visitors to Orkney.
Well, yeah, I think one or two bits might have ended up somewhere else. But, yeah, I mean, certainly mine and Nigel's only one.
It's a big blue, couple of big blue towers and things ahead of us. Quite what they're doing, I know what to do with. But perhaps there's a thing that comes out. Connect up to the ship.
Walked up to the boat, yeah, good half hour early.
Yeah, see.
I knew I'd seen. It said new for 2013. We now have a guy. Well, we don't problem.
Yeah, there's something in there that could well push out towards the side of the boat, you know. A bit like what we got on, see that?
Yeah.
When we're supposed to family, we go into that. And down. Bicycle over here at the other end.
No, it's all.
That thing is now flashing as if it's about to come out.
It looks like it's on the side. Is it working? Well, it's working. I want to assume it's service. I'm sure it's in on the website.
Well, that thing comes down and we get walked down.
Now have a dive on it.
We do them.
Right.
Oh, you could walk out the other side. There's another covered way going out the other side of it. Anyway, we're almost there. The boat's moving much closer to this device anyway.
Yeah. That must, I bet that comes down and you walk down through that way.
Yeah. Still a bit of a mystery. We're quite close to this thing now.
I think we're going down over there.
We've now arrived at the port of Stromness with all vehicle drivers and the
Here comes.
passengers. Please
Look.
proceed to the car deck. Passengers going to the car deck, please be aware of moving vehicles. The food passenger gang will shortly be in position on deck 5. A further announcement will be made to disembark. On behalf of Captain Mackay, the ship's company, I'd like to thank you for travelling on the hand of boat and wish you a safe and pleasant onward journey.
There we go.
We're going out this way now.
Yeah. He's going into that tube now.
Come on, here he comes. He's on. He's on out too. Come hurry up.
Bicycles. It keeps us all together. That's good. Find the people. All we've got to do is find the coach now.
So how many days have you been on holiday together for?
forever.
It's Tuesday morning. That's Tuesday morning.
So you will know each other really well. But I'm Helen, and I'm going to be your guide for today, and you're going to have a brilliant day. Oh, so I'm just going to get my stuff and then follow me out to the coach, and we'll. Hello. Wait for the camera.
Yes.
I've got a big coat. It's out here and then to the right. Someone took a look at my big coat and said, "Are we expecting rough weather?" We've got a saying in Orkney, which is you can have 4 seasons in one day, so we always come prepared. Some of the sites we're going to go to are very windy, so we have something called the wind chill factor. So it can be colder. So it looks lovely and bright. There's a good chance you could get sunburnt on a day like today, but you will need to wrap up warm. The idea is to take layers and take them off if you get too uncomfortable. And I presume that Mike has already given you the drill that if you can't hear me or you're too hot or too cold, you know what to do. Okay, so you've just sailed over the Pentland Firth, and I believe you've all seen the Old Man of Hoy?
Yep.
Excellent, magnificent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those cliffs at St John's Head on the island of Hoy are about 300 metres high, and they're home to some of the most amazing colonies of seabirds. Quite astounding. It is a wonderful place. We're in the town of Stromness, which is the second largest town in Orkney. We're on the island of Mainland. We do not refer to Scotland as mainland, that's just Sooth. We're in Orkney. If you meet an Orcadian, and you will today, they don't talk like me, they've got this lovely accent which is Scottish with a real hint of Scandinavian in it. It's like a blend of Scottish and Welsh. And it's lovely, it's all singy-songy, their accent. It's beautiful. If you get somebody to, I might try and get somebody to be Exhibit A for you. And you can listen to them. So, we're in Stromness. There's a population of about 2,000. So mainland is the largest of the 70 islands of the Orkney archipelago. And at the roundabout, could you go straight ahead? You're going to come up to something very unusual, which is a roundabout. We've got about 5 roundabouts in Orkney. We have no dual carriageway. We have no traffic lights unless they're temporary ones because of roadworks. And we have no fixed speed cameras. The police do have the mobile ones, but it's lovely. We've got a couple of people have gone and put CCTV cameras in, but that's a bit of a thing of the past. In fact, when I go home south to Hampshire, I have to remember to carry my handbag and not leave it around because up here it's so safe. So this is the town of Stromness. It's a Viking place. It's got a Viking name called Hamnavo, which means safe haven, and the boat you came in on was called the Hamnavo. We've got a massive Viking legacy here. A lot of the DNA research they've done into people's genes up here has shown that the Vikings did leave traces of themselves in all manner of ways. Probably all that raping and pillaging they were doing, but they settled here. And we were Viking up until really fairly recently. I'll tell you a little bit about that later, but I'm just going to point out a few things to you. The main town, the main city is Kirkwall, and we'll be finishing in Kirkwall. As I said, you're on the island of Mainland, which is the largest island of 70. About 20 of the islands are inhabited. Some of those inhabited islands are not inhabited all year round. And as you can see, it's very, very green. And Mike is just going to turn left here, and he's going to follow the road up to the signpost is for Bursey, and that's another Norse word. Anything that ends in AY is a Norse word. They weren't very imaginative, our Vikings. We're just slowing down for some cyclists. Our Vikings called Hoy because Hoy means high island. Right, Can you see how green it is? Wonderful and green. Right, have a good look out the window to the left. I want you to have a good look at those two twin hills of Hoy. They're just disappearing now. You will have seen them. You will have seen them from a different angle when you came in, but I want you to remember them because they dominate the whole of the West mainland. And when we go and see some of the ritual sites, the Ring of Brodgar and the Standing Stones of Stennis, I want you to see how those twin hills dominate the landscape. And I'm going to tell you about a very important solar effect that goes on at them once a year. And if I forget to tell you, please remind me because it's very important. Orkney is green because its main economy is agriculture. Second only by tourism, so thank you to adding to our economy. And our main crop up here is not cereals, but it's grass. It's actually green grass, and it's because our main export is beef cattle. And the farmers will actually plough their fields and sow grass seed. And then in the winter, actually about autumn, they'll harvest it and they'll turn it into silage. I'm going to see if I can find you some silage bales in a bit. Oh, you all know about silage. You're all country folk. I'm sorry. I'm teaching grandmother to suck eggs. I'm so sorry. My dad was a farmer, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know about farming. When I used to teach archaeology in the south, I took some of my students who were about 18 out to a farm museum, and they asked me why one sheep had a wooden box under its hind legs and other sheep had painted splodges on their backs. And when I explained them, they said, yeah, you all know, don't you? They told me I was disgusting. So, you know, I never like to assume, but at the same time I'll try not to patronise. But I've got a feeling you lot are going to tell me if I start patronising you. There's some lovely beef cattle there to the left. So you have got a beautiful day here in Orkney, and it's not actually that windy, but it is gorgeous. We have a very temperate climate up here because we're on the Gulf Stream. So you often hear on the news about places like Aviemore and Inverness and the central belt of Glasgow and Edinburgh really getting hit with snows. If we get snow in Orkney, it will be about 1 or 2 days and that'll be it. And it's never bad. And the temperature does not really get that low. And it's brilliant because I've got a UK bunch of tourists in the coach, which means I do not have to convert everything to centigrade like I do have to for the Americans. It's wonderful. So I can just tell you, it's our temperatures average about 5 degrees in winter and about 15 degrees in summer. But I think we're probably hitting about 20 degrees today. It is lovely. And you'll notice how many wind turbines we've got. There's 2 there, just down to the right. Orkney has got onto the renewables thing in a big way. A lot of people, they're quite contentious about the wind turbines, but I've got one and I like them. Doing my bit to save the planet. If you look just up the hill to your left, you'll see a pillbox, and you will see lots of them. It's little pillbox. Yes, you'll all know what they are, but I have to explain. It's not literally a pillbox. It's a place for soldiers to sit with guns. Yeah, World War II. Right, good, excellent. So that is because the reason for that is Orkney in both World Wars, Orkney was strategically important because of its natural harbour of Scapa Flow, and I will tell you a story of Scapa Flow when we get nearer to it. But because we were, after Norway had been invaded by the Germans, Orkney was in danger of being invaded as well, and there were, I think at one point there were between 80 and 100,000 service personnel stationed in Orkney, and given that our population is about 20,000, that is almost like an invasion, a benign invasion, but the World War II in particular was the biggest cultural change to Orkney. So, if you look down to your left and ahead, you will see the Atlantic Ocean in the distance. And that is where we're going to, that cluster of houses just in front of the Atlantic Ocean. Has anyone been to Orkney before? It's your first time? Oh, my cats, yes. And I have as well, actually, yeah. Anyone else? No? Okay. Oh. You're all going to have to come back because the only thing we can do in a day is a taster. I mean, you're going to pack a lot in today, but there's so much to do. It's wonderful.
An obvious convert.
I moved here 4 years ago because I came up. Oh, there's a hare! Oh, on the left, there's a hare, brown hare, running all across the field to the left. I've been watching the hares box recently. Was he? Sorry. I'll try and look out a bit more. I'm trying to tell you stories and look. Right. Just as we're going to follow the road round, and it goes all the way around the locker scale. So we just follow it around on the other side of the locker scale. But could you just look at the little house to your left? It's a ruined croft, and that is a very traditional Orkney house. It's based on the old Viking longhouses, or langhouses as they'd say up here, and they're basically button bends. You've got your cattle at one end and your humans at the other, and you keep each other warm. They both go through the same door. Cows turn one way, humans turn the other. Keep each other warm, but our houses, traditional houses in Orkney, are long and low, and that's because of the wind. We've got a lot of wind. It's not that windy today. Yeah, I've got a hot air, haven't I? But it's very windy. That's why we've all got onto the renewables thing quite a bit.